All right, so looking at page 68, we're working with independent samples. This one's more straightforward than the previous one because there is functionality built into the calculator that handles this. So the example here, Great Buy and Circuit Town both claim that they offer the best prices. A sample of 50 randomly selected items from the inventory of Great Buy was collected. So make a little category here, Great Buy 50. The mean cost of the items was $97.50 with a standard deviation of $17.19. Now, at Circuit Town, there were 32 items sampled at $76.59. And $12.63 respectively. Now this is for my first group, so I'm going to throw a little subscript of 1. And this is my second group, so we throw a subscript of 2. All right, using a 0.05 significance level, we're going to test the claim that there is no significant difference between the average cost between the two places. All right. So this is a t distribution because we don't know the population standard deviation. We're looking to test the claim that there's no significant difference, which would mean the means are the same. Alternatively, the means would be different. Two-tailed test. But this is what we're concerned with. All right, so once we address that in our conclusion, then we'll have an appropriately worded conclusion, but we got to get there. All right, so critical value for t. T distribution requires degrees of freedom. And so what we'll do is take the smaller n value. There's another formula, but this one gets the job done. This algorithm. So take the smaller of the two n values and subtract 1 from it. All right, so then I go to my calculator apps, inference, test. This is 2 means. It's a t-test. Null and alternative. So the null is good. The alternative, I want a not equal symbol. Put in my stuff, so 97.50, 17.19. 50 was my first sample size. Then 76.59, 12.63. There we go. And 32 is the sample size. Significance level is good. Go to next. I have my p-value, which is very small, 1.386 times 10 to the negative 8th power. And my test statistic t is 6.33, about 5. All right. So this value is very much less than the alpha value. It just has to be less in order to reject the null. This would fall in any rejection area, but I do need these benchmarks to critical values, so I'm going to go to the home screen and get that. Before I do that, I'm going to hit next, take a look at the picture. It's just one thing that I wish the calculator would do. Maybe I just don't know how to do it, but that mark there where we have that gray shaded area, it won't even let me zoom now. That little gray shaded area, that is what we need here. I wish they would give us those numbers, but alas, that is not the case, or at least I just don't know how to do it. So we go to our home screen, we go to, again, probability, distributions, students t, and then we want inverse t. That 0.05 gets split evenly among the two sides, or between the two sides. So 0.025 with 31 degrees of freedom. And I have my cutoff value of negative 2. 0395. All right, so I'll just go back to the inference app real quick. This one doesn't remember where you left off. I think they probably made that as a decision for consistency, but it looks like it's right at 2, but I suppose it could be a smidge to the left of 2, a smidge to the right of 2, so it's pretty consistent. I mean, it's very consistent. It's just a question of, why they couldn't put that number in that screen. I just don't know why. So we would say reject the null hypothesis. So there is sufficient evidence to reject the claim that there is no difference I'll say no significant difference, because that's how the question was worded, in population mean price between Great Buy and Circuit Town at the 0.05 significance level. And then if you read this, I mean, the template isn't perfect. It's sometimes a little clunky. But if you read this, you realize we actually have addressed the question that was being asked, so we don't need to write anything further.